Hey guys, it's Jake Mace, the vegan athlete. Before this episode begins, please hit the like button for me, comment any questions you have down below, hit the bell button, turn on my notifications, and subscribe to my Vegan Athlete YouTube channel here. The current state of our food is frightening to me. I just saw a statistic that says we're going to be approaching 8 billion people in 2018. Where's the food going to come from? Where's the water going to come from? Are we going to be able to eat meat? Because meat takes so much more land and so much more water to produce than vegetables does. Are we going to have to start thinking about our food in terms of what can we grow ourselves in our front and our backyards? I think that's the future. The future of global is thinking local. How much food can we produce in a front and a backyard? Can you feed one person or an entire family? Well, you can't do it in a yard like that. But maybe if your yard looks like this, the possibility becomes real. Let's go check it out. Hey Jay, what's happening?
What's going on, guys?
This is your house.
Yes, it is. How you doing, Jake?
Your house is a jungle.
Yes, it is. It is a jungle, and it's a jungle right now in the middle of the winter.
Yeah.
You would think in January right now it'd be a complete stick forest, but
Today's January 1st.
today is January 1st. Yes.
And most of the world's under a frozen blanket of snow, but you got your figs still producing.
Yes, figs are still producing. I've got starfruit producing, chico sapote producing, ice cream beans producing. So yeah, it's a wonderful place to be in Phoenix, Arizona, because we can grow just about anything here. We're the luckiest place on earth, basically.
I contacted you a few days ago about this video, and you wanted to wait till the summer when it was not as dormant. But I mean, come on, this place is thriving right now.
I think it's kind of like that with everybody's yard. It's just never quite perfect, and
Yeah.
especially in the winter time, you know, it's usually a stick forest here, so a lot of the gardeners, we don't really want it to be seen during the winter time, you know, it's usually during the construction period, but it's like, well, it does look pretty good around here. I'm going to have you come out definitely in the spring, because that's going to be the fruit, tour when everything has full fruit on it. We do have fruit on quite a few things around here, but it looks pretty good this year considering we've had a wonderful, wonderful winter this year.
So if folks subscribe to my Vegan Athlete channel or to your Phoenix Fruit Growers Facebook group,
Yes.
we'll do an update video coming up. This is my first YouTube tour video at your place.
That's right.
Even though we've done Facebook here before and you come to my place before,
Right.
This is my first full tour of your place.
Very good. Very good.
We could easily spend like 5 hours here.
Oh, definitely. We could probably spend 5 hours on talking about one plant. So.
We probably could, yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
And you have a lot more knowledge than I do, so I love to get you on camera as well and
Okay, sure.
kind of you lead the tour through this place. And
Sure.
Would you mind showing my audience what you got growing on back here?
Absolutely. So we'll kind of start here in the front. So there's about 250 to 300 fruit trees on the property. I'm not exactly sure anymore because I don't really count.
On how big a plot of land?
This is 1/3 of an acre, and the plantable land on the area is 1/8 of an acre.
1/8 of an acre of plantable area.
Yes, and so I've got, like I said, 250 to 300 in that, somewhere in that range, and this is just the first couple layers of the food forest, so I plan on putting in probably just as many more in the future.
And your goal is mostly fruit trees?
Mostly fruit trees, yes. Perennials, I like a lot of perennials. The annuals take a lot more work, like an annual vegetable garden, for instance. You know that really well.
It's more labor intensive because you have to tend to it.
You have to tend to it, you have to feed it a lot more, you have to water it a lot more. Them being annuals, they're going to suck up all the nutrients quickly because they only live for 1 calendar year, or technically 1 year. Here they'll over winter. So yeah, you want to get the nutrients in there, get those plants up big fast because they only live a year and die on off. So
perennials are your focus?
Perennials are my focus. I've noticed in my own experience that usually about a 10 by 10 garden bed will take about as much work, physical work and time, as 300 fruit trees.
Wow.
You know, so that's why I've kind of converted over quite a bit more to the perennials. I started with all annuals. That's what I started with, was the gardens and garden beds, but it's been slowly converted to a food forest as I've lost a lot of the sunlight to the canopy.
Well, let's start our tour.
Okay, awesome. Sounds good.
With videos kind of like this, you know, we get a lot of experienced master gardeners watching and a lot of beginners watching.
Sure.
So I'm sure the beginners will love the more specific information you give.
Right.
But the masters are going to love the inspiration you're going to give.
Yes, yeah.
So take us through whatever you want to take us through and show us what you got.
We'll keep it a little bit generic here. Just like I said, we'll kind of skip cultivars and we'll kind of go by plants. And you'll notice the position that I have certain plants in over here.
Okay.
So you want to set up a microenvironment for the plants if they're going to exist in Arizona, because we do have a little bit of a cold winter, usually about a month, and then we've got 11 months of hell, basically. So it's hot the rest of the time. So we have to set these plants up in a way that they'll exist. And the two main things that they need is shade, especially being a first-year
Because
plant.
we have too much sun here.
Too
and
much
too much
sun.
heat.
Yes, full Arizona sun is not the sun on the tags that they say full sun.
Right.
That means partial shade, basically. And then the other thing that grips us is the humidity. If we can pick up the humidity on your property by using mulch, using a canopy layer, keeping everything nice and moist, then you'll be able to grow plants that wouldn't and shouldn't exist here, like avocados. They're really, really easy if you just give them a little bit of a humid environment and give them a lot of water and a lot of nutrients. They're actually quite easy. That's not one of the harder plants to grow here. There's much harder plants to grow here than that.
Yeah.
I've got some in positions out here, like you'll see, this is out by the street. Well, it's nice today, but you got to imagine 122 degree day, 150 degree asphalt, you know, it's just hot winds blowing down the street. It just cooks everything.
Yeah.
So olives of course are first because they can take the brutality.
And I think, you know, olives are one of those ancient human foods.
Yes, and they're extremely easy to grow here. They're a tier 1 plant, very low water use, and you can get the productive olives. There's no reason to buy the non-fruiting olive trees.
Right.
So that's another one of the plants we're trying to convert people on, is getting the edible olives, because they're so easy to make into food.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, really, to brine. It's so easy.
And next to it we have a nice little mulberry.
Yep, dwarf mulberry, which I keep this guy short. I try to keep all these trees to this 8-foot height and this 4-foot wide panel. That way you're allowed to plant so many plants in a very, 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 very small restricted area. And by keeping them small, you'll have a ton of food right there at your hands. So mulberries, they fruit on new wood, so we cut these guys back every year, and it just fills full of berries right here at the base level. Next is a red Baron peach. I just put this one out here for the blooms because this is one of the most beautiful blooming.
The flowers are actually red.
They're a double red flower. They're absolutely stunning. Barbados Cherry is another strong one. So this is a tropical cherry, and these will fruit 2 times a year, in the spring and in the fall. And these produce a cherry that is sweet, just like a regular cherry. It just doesn't quite have that flavor, that plum prunus flavor.
Also called an acerola.
Acerola, yes. Very high in vitamin C, very nutritious, and these are very, very highly productive at year 2. This is the thing, you got to wait on these.
And you've kind of espaliered these almost against this hog fencing you got here.
Yes, so
hog paneling.
Yes, exactly. So this is what I call a espalier or half espalier.
People say espalier, espalier,
Espalier, yeah, every combination, yes.
Everyone that doesn't speak French, basically.
Yes, yes. So they're kind of half espaliers where they're flattened against this wall.
Sure.
The majority is allowed to come out here on my side, but every once in a while some goes through to the neighbor, and the neighbor gets all the food that's on that side. So that's our agreement.
That's
so
awesome.
It's good to have that agreement with your neighbors. Talk to them, see what they like to eat. If you want to plant stuff like this where your plants are going to encroach into their yard, then you definitely want something that they're going to snack on.
And most neighbors just love the look and the feel of the plants. And then the fruit are just a bonus.
Absolutely, and I've never seen anyone turn down a mango that has fallen on their side of the fence.
Or a Barbados cherry.
You know, or a Barbados cherry.
And you got this guy, is this a plum?
Yeah, this is a plum. Yep.
And down below it, you've got a prickly pear, nopalitos.
Yes.
Sharing the same kind of area.
Sharing the same area, and not only that, the same watering system.
That's what I was going to say. It's amazing to me that the prickly pear is not being rotted out with too much water.
Yeah, not at all. So it's all about the soil and the soil drainage. If you can get the drainage up, then you can plant things like succulents and cactus in an area. These get watered every day.
That's great.
Every single day, even in the wintertime.
Yeah, it looks very healthy.
And these don't rot out at all. So I plan on putting different varieties of edible cactuses in the wells of each one of these trees eventually. So that just shows you the layers that you can do. I mean, this is a tiny little spot, you know, and you've got a nice fruit tree here, and you've got a nice either a cactus or a shrub, maybe a smaller pomegranate, something underneath it. So you've got multiple layers of food there.
When you've got 1/8 of an acre of plantable space like you have to use every square inch.
You have to squeeze it in there, and you're always being creative. It's like, well, what part of the driveway don't I need anymore, or what bedroom don't I need anymore? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just tear that off there so I can get some more room for trees.
Well, before we go any further, I have 3 questions for you. So
Sure.
one, what do you feel the world would be like if all of your neighbors in your entire neighborhood had a garden and a home that had a landscape like yours? How would the world change? How would it be different?